Good morning. Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. Okay, so here I am again. I am on my platform that allows me to go live both on Facebook and on YouTube. So hopefully it's working. It worked really well last time. So I've only done it one other time. So hopefully it goes well. I don't think that my internet signal is super strong this morning, which is disappointing, but hopefully this is working. Um, we are very excited because we are actually getting fiber internet in our area. We have been hoping and praying for that for a really, really long time. We were told that we would never be able to get it in our area, that it would never be available. And so there was a point in time where we actually thought about maybe selling our house and moving because of our crappy internet. But because of, I don't know, something about the federal grants or something that, they're trying to get good internet to all areas. So we have a company that has a grant so that they are able to install fiber internet in our area. So hopefully that happens soon, like within probably the next month or two, we're going to have fiber internet and I cannot wait. But hopefully this morning my internet will hold up. I don't know, my signal is not looking super strong. So I hope this is recording. If you can see me, then let me know that it's working. Let me know that it's, not frozen or anything. So anyway, it is about 9 o'clock in the morning here in Iowa. And I have been awake since about 4:30 this morning, thanks to Oakley, which he is not joining me this morning. He is, oh, there my screen froze. Anyway, Oakley is out in the living room. I don't know if he'll join us this morning or not, but he was very active during the night last night. So we've been up for a very long time. But I got up, I got my workout done this morning. I showered, I got dressed. I made some cinnamon brown butter bites this morning, which I did do a video. I know some of you are waiting to see that video. I'm waiting for the butter to harden so that I can actually show you the end result. And then I'm going to put together the whole video and share that. So that will be coming. And I really hope that this is recording okay because it keeps telling me that my internet strength is very, very poor. But what do you do? I mean, you just wait for fiber internet, which is coming so soon. I can't wait. So today, well, I'm actually going to be working all day today, but I decided that I was going to do a quick coffee chat live this morning before I start my work day. I know the last time I did a coffee chat, I promised that I was going to try to do more of them. So I just decided that I needed to make time to do it this morning. So I've got my coffee here. You guys know I love coffee mugs. I'm obsessed with coffee mugs. This is one of my favorite ones that I got in Arizona. I'm drinking flavored coffee this morning, and I can't remember what it is now. It's like a maple something. I don't know, but I have a link in my link tree to what I use to get my flavored coffee on Amazon. So anyway, it's pretty good. Okay, so what I want to talk about this morning. Some of you know, if you follow me on Instagram, if you follow me on Facebook, if you watch my stories regularly, you know that I'm kind of doing a food experiment. And so I just want to talk about that this morning. So in order to really talk about my current food experiment, I need to kind of go back and talk about how I got here, how I got to where I am right now with my food and my eating plan. So, lots of years ago, I was eating the standard American diet, just like everybody else, which we all know is a crap diet. And if you don't know that, then I'm telling you right now that the standard American diet is a crap diet. It just is. It's not healthy, but that's what, most of us have eaten all of our lives. So in 2015, I decided that I was ready to take control of my health, my fitness, my eating habits, and I just wanted to start eating better. But I didn't really know what that meant back then. I'm a nurse, and a lot of people think that if you're a nurse or a doctor, you know all there is to know about fitness and nutrition, and that is simply not true. Being a nurse or being a doctor does not mean that you know anything at all about nutrition. I know in nursing school, you get very, very, very little training about nutrition. You would take like one short little nutrition class just because you have to, just because, you know, they know that you need to know something about nutrition. Very basic. And what I've learned is very inaccurate. And from what I have learned from, just talking to some other doctors is that, doctors don't actually get any special training or education in nutrition either. So, the fact that I am a nurse means nothing when it comes to nutrition because I knew nothing about nutrition. Being a nurse does not mean that you know anything at all about nutrition or fitness or, whatever. So you get the point. You get what I'm saying. So, back in 2015, when I decided I wanted to start eating better, I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't really know what I was supposed to do. But I came across a program. I mean, I had really tried everything. I had tried lots of fad diets. I had tried, like Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and all the stuff. I tried all the stuff and nothing really worked for me. Nothing really made me feel good. So in 2015, I came across a program. Those of you who have been following me for a while, you know what I'm talking about because you saw me measuring all of my food every day with these little color-coded containers. And basically back then, I thought that was the best healthy way to eat. It was eating a lot of vegetables, quite a bit of fruit, lots of carbs, not very much fat, which, you know, it's so sad that in our society we have been taught that eating fat is bad because now I know that that is not true. But back then I was just going along with, what I thought was, the healthy way to eat. So that eating plan, I looked up the macros and it ended up being my daily intake was 40% carbs. That is a lot. 40% carbs, 30% protein, and only 30% fat. That is ridiculous. I mean, I didn't know back then that was ridiculous. I thought it was, the healthy way to eat because that's what they were saying. But now I know that that is ridiculous. So based on like average good calorie intake for me, I believe is around 1,500 calories. And so if I were to look at 1,500 calories, which was what I was trying to stay around back then, that would mean that every day I was eating 150 grams of carbs. Oh my God, it's like poison in your body. And then 113 grams of protein, which that's good. I don't have a problem with that. And only 50 grams of fat. I mean, that's enough to keep your hormones okay and, for all of the bodily functions that you need fat for. I mean, really, you don't want to go anywhere below 30 to 40 grams of fat in a day. If you go lower than that, your body is going to be screaming at you because you're not fueling your hormones. You're not, fueling all of the functions that your body actually needs fat for. So that was the way I was eating for quite a few years. And I didn't feel that great. I mean, I lost some weight, but I didn't feel that great. And you guys, I mean, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I have IBS. And so I was having major gut issues. I mean, I just did not feel good. And what I found with this particular program that I was following back then was, that was the macros, and that was, the portions that they would recommend for, everyday stuff. But then they had these little mini programs that were like 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and they were intended to like help you jumpstart things and help you feel better fast, or help you lose the bloat, or slim up for a special event, stuff like that. And so what I found was I was feeling pretty bad most of the time. So usually like maybe once a month, I would do one of those short little programs that they had, set aside. They had like a whole library of, online eating plans. And so every once in a while, I would do one of these short 3, 5, or 7 day, like, I don't know what you want to call them, just like a quick program to make you feel better. And basically, what it was you cut out all the carbs. And so for 3 or 5 or 7 days, you basically would just eat protein and fat, and that was it. And you would not eat a bunch of carbs for those days. And when I would do those, once a month or so, I would feel so much better. I would just feel so much better. And so then I started thinking, well, gosh, maybe I just need to start eating this way every day. If this is what makes me feel better, maybe that's how I need to eat all the time. So then I started kind of looking into, what if I stopped eating carbs? Because, when I wanted to feel good, I would do those short little, 3, 5, or 7 day programs to help me feel better. Well, the whole point of those short little programs was that you were just cutting out carbs for those days, and it would make you feel better. So that is kind of what brought me to keto. Back then, I thought keto was stupid. I thought it was unhealthy. I thought it was a fad diet. I thought it was just ridiculous. I didn't want anything to do with it. But then I started researching it, because I thought, if I feel this great when I don't eat carbs for a few days, why don't I just stop eating carbs? And so I started researching keto. I learned a lot about it, and I learned that it's actually a really, really healthy way to eat. So instead of having my macros being 40% carbs, 30% protein, and 30% fat, like I was doing, the keto macros, which the common macros that you do is only 5% carbs, 25% protein, and 70% fat. So keto is a very low carb, very high fat way of eating. And it is a moderate protein. One of the things I learned when I started doing keto was there was all this talk about, the whole purpose of keto is to get your body into ketosis. And so when your body is using fat for energy instead of carbs, then your body produces ketones. And that is what it means to be in ketosis. And that is why it's called the keto diet. So, one of the things I learned when I was researching keto was they say, keep your protein moderate. You want to hit your protein goal, because protein is probably one of the most important macros, because it's the building blocks for your body. You need protein. I mean, if you're not eating protein, then everything in your body is, your hair is falling out, and your skin is unhealthy, and just, things like that. So, I mean, you have to hit your protein goal. But, the whole thing with keto, all of the things that I learned was that it should be moderate protein, not high protein. Because when you eat really high protein, if you eat more protein than what your body needs, then your body goes through this process called gluconeogenesis, and it turns the extra protein into glucose. And so then if you're raising your glucose, then that can affect your ability to get into ketosis or stay in ketosis. So that was one of the main things I learned when I first started keto, was keep your protein at a moderate level. You need to hit your goal, but don't go too overboard with your protein. So I started keto in 2019. I was feeling pretty awesome. I had a lot more energy. I still had some stomach issues because I was still eating vegetables. I was still eating a lot of vegetables that I probably shouldn't have been eating because I didn't understand and I didn't know that they were the things that are causing me problems. Like a lot of keto recipes use cauliflower. I mean, you do use cauliflower for everything because it's so low carb. Well, I know now what I didn't know back then. I know now that my body does not tolerate cauliflower and I cannot eat it. But I didn't know that back then. So, I was making all these keto recipes with, things like cauliflower and broccoli and cabbage. I mean, I love cabbage like that. Oh, I can't think of what the name of it is, but that stir fry that stir fry recipe that everybody likes to make with the cabbage. Anyway, I was eating things like that were low carb vegetables that I love, that are delicious, and they were tearing up my gut. Like my IBS was so bad back then, and I was miserable. I mean, really, I had energy, because, of the keto and being in ketosis, but I was having miserable gut issues because I was eating all of these vegetables that I didn't know I should not be eating, that that my body just can't tolerate. Um, so hold on, I got to take a drink of my coffee because I feel like I'm just talking a lot. Okay. So, if you have been following keto for a while, you may be familiar with the egg fast. And if you are not familiar with the egg fast, it is basically a tool that people who follow keto will use sometimes. It's kind of like maybe to jumpstart your keto, or maybe if you get off track and you need some help getting back on track. Or maybe if you're at a stall, like a weight loss stall, some people will use it, to help you break through that stall. Well, after starting keto, I joined a lot of different Facebook groups and I was, interacting with a lot of people in the keto community. And I don't even remember at what point it was, but I heard somebody talking about an egg fast. And I was like, what the heck is that? I had no idea what an egg fast was. So I did some, research and looked online, and I found lots of information about the egg fast. And basically what it is for 3 to 5 days, you eat nothing but eggs and fat. And you can have a little bit of cheese, but that's it, nothing else. So basically, the rule of an egg fast is you eat 1 tablespoon of fat for every egg that you eat. So I was like, okay, I can try it. I love eggs. so um, so I did an egg fast and I loved it. I probably was eating like maybe 10 eggs, 10 to 12 eggs a day. And then probably, the same amount in either butter or mayonnaise. And so what I found was I did the egg fast and I felt amazing. My body felt really good. My stomach issues were resolved. I had no gut issues during the time. Um, I had lots of energy. I was very, very like mentally focused, like very clear-minded. I wasn't really checking my ketones regularly back then, but I'm pretty sure that my ketones were probably pretty high while I was doing the egg fast. And so just an egg is a perfect food because it is like a 1-to-1 protein to fat. It is just a perfect nutritious food. And so it was just giving me, the amount of protein and fat that I needed. And so I started doing, like, I was like, oh my God, I was, in Facebook groups and I was, talking to people and I'm like, how often can I do this? I feel so amazing. Um, I would do like Monday through, or no, like Sunday through Thursday, I would do an egg fast. And then on the weekends, I would eat like more keto type stuff. And I just started doing that regularly because I felt so amazing when I was doing the egg fast. Well, then in one of the groups, I was talking about that and how I just felt so amazing. And someone was like, well, maybe you should try the beef and butter fast. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, I just thought all of this was kind of crazy back then, but they were like, well, if you like the egg fast, you should try the beef and butter fast, because it's very similar. You basically just, eat protein and fat. It's beef and butter instead of eggs and butter. So, I did that for a while, and the bottom line is I felt so amazing, whether I was doing the egg fast or if I was doing the beef fast. During those days, I felt so good. I mean, my body just felt so good. And so then in one of those, in one of those Facebook groups, someone was like, well, maybe you should just go carnivore. And honestly, I had never heard of the carnivore diet before. I had never heard of it. It was at that moment that I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, carnivore, I've never heard of that. And so I started researching that. And then I started following lots of people who have been eating carnivore for years. Like I'm talking like, 10, 12, 15 years. And people who had resolved a lot of their chronic health problems that they had not been able to resolve, working with their physician. So I was very fascinated by it. And basically, the carnivore diet is kind of like keto, minus the vegetables, minus the nuts. It is basically just you are eating animal products. I mean, anything that comes from an animal. So, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, because dairy comes from an animal originally. So you can have cheese, you can have sour cream, things like that. So I decided to try that. I'm like, well, if I feel so amazing when I'm eating just eggs and beef and butter, then maybe I should just try carnivore. So the beginning of 2021, I went carnivore. And it was quite a journey. It was quite an adjustment. But so the interesting thing is in the carnivore community, there's like this belief that there's no limit to how much protein you can eat. So it's the difference with keto and carnivore is the goal with carnivore is not to get your body into ketosis. They don't really care what your ketones are when you're carnivore. It's like, you might have ketones of 0.2, and that's fine because, you have ketones, you're using your fat for energy because you're not eating carbs. So that's just the bottom line. But the goal of the carnivore diet is not necessarily ketosis and to have high ketones. It's just to heal your body. It's to fuel your body with the foods that your body needs, with the proper foods, with protein and fat. So that's really what carnivore is all about. And so I did carnivore, mostly carnivore in 2021. Towards the end, I really was more ketovore, which means I was mostly eating like meat, eggs, butter, cheese, things like that. But every once in a while, I would have other things. Like sometimes I'd have a salad. I still, I still like to drink my electrolytes with stevia. So there are people in the carnivore community who will say, well, that's not carnivore. It is what it is, whatever your opinion, whatever you think. But for the most part, I was eating just animal products. And so then into the beginning of this year, I was mostly just ketovore. I was just, eating a very, very heavy meat-based diet, but still every once in a while having vegetables, still once in a while having some other things. But what I noticed was my body was feeling good. My stomach was feeling really good. Overall, my energy was okay, but I felt like I was really, really just kind of feeling tired most of the time and just trying to figure out what do I need to change to make this better. And so there was a point earlier in the year that I decided to try to decrease my fat and increase my protein because that's what everybody was doing. That's what everybody was talking about. there was the big, all of a sudden everybody was doing PSMF, which is protein sparing modified fasting. And I thought, well, maybe I need to try that. And so basically, if you don't know what that is, there's a lot of confusion about PSMF, and I think that most people don't understand the purpose behind it. Most people just think that it's a low calorie, low fat eating plan that you follow every single day. That's not the case. Basically, um, basically PSMF is the whole concept that, a lot of people do days of fasting. Like they'll do, days of eating, and then they'll have like a whole day or a couple days or 3 days of just fasting. And so the whole purpose behind the PSMF is, on those fasting days, instead of not eating any food at all and fasting completely and not eating anything, um, you could eat protein, just a very small amount of protein. And so the whole concept of that is, instead of having a total fasting day, it's a very low calorie protein day. And so a lot of people don't understand that. They just think PSMF is just, oh, low calorie, low fat. That's crazy. Well, that is crazy if you're going to do that every day. But if you're going to do it just like 1 or 2 or 3 days a week, then it doesn't seem as crazy, because a lot of people will do a complete fast for that many days, and nobody thinks that that's crazy at all. People think, oh yeah, I fasted for 36 hours and I didn't eat anything and all I had was water, and people think that's okay. And for some people that is okay, but the whole point of the PSMF days is that on those days of fasting, instead of, not eating anything, you are just allowing yourself to have some protein. So I tried that. I tried it. And I actually went online this morning and I printed out what my macros and my calories would be for the PSMF, just because I wanted to share it since I was going to be talking about it. So for me, for my current weight, my current body fat percentage, and all that stuff. So on the fasting days, my goal would be around 700 calories, 30 grams of fat, and 117 grams of protein. So those would just be on the fasting days. Instead of fasting, you would eat that much protein and fat. So I tried it, and I don't like to fast at all. I mean, I can do intermittent fasting. I can fast for like 16 hours, maybe 18 hours. But other than that, I do not like to fast. So those days were really, really hard for me. I tried a couple weeks where I did one day, 2 days, and I was miserable. But then on the other days, so my macro recommendations for those other days would be around 1,200 calories a day, 86 grams of fat, 96 grams of protein. So still, that is way too low for me. I cannot eat 1,200 calories. That is not enough. That is not enough fuel for my body. So I tried that whole thing with the low fat, high protein, and I was miserable, absolutely miserable. So I was like, this is not working for me. So just trying to figure out, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Just trying to like feel better. And so I follow a lot of different people who are in the keto and carnivore community, and I became very interested in Keto Savage. I went on his website, and he has a macro calculator on his website. And so I decided to just do my macros and see what he would recommend. And so it was very interesting that, so you plug in all of your numbers, and then it'll tell you, okay, if you want to build muscle and kind of bulk up, it'll tell you this is what your calories and macros would be. If you want to lean out and lose fat, this is what your calories and macros should be. And he is like a Oh, sorry. I thought I lost my internet for a minute there. I hope you guys can still see me. But anyway, so like on Instagram, just search for Keto Savage, and he's pretty amazing. He's, I don't know. I got his book recently, and it's just a lot of very interesting stuff. So anyway, I did my macros on his online macro calculator, and what it told me was if I want to lose fat, my calorie goal is around 1,700 calories a day, which is pretty much where I'm around most of the time. I mean, I try to stay around 1,500 calories a day, but it's just not enough for me. I get so hungry. It's just not enough. So I usually am around 1,700 calories a day, which that's what he recommended. Um, then around 10 to 15 total carbs a day, which, that's pretty easy for me because I don't really eat a lot of carbs. And then protein was around 75 grams a day, which it kind of averages out to being a gram of protein per kilogram of my body weight. So that's kind of my new goal, what I've been aiming for right now. Sometimes it's hard though, because I do love to eat meat. I've had to decrease the amount of meat that I eat in a day, which is very hard for me. Sometimes I'm closer to like 80 or 90 grams of protein a day. But for the most part, I'm trying to keep it, I'm trying to keep it down there. And then my fat goal was 158 grams of fat a day. So that's a lot of fat. But I decided, you know what? He knows what he's talking about. And so I decided that I was going to try it. And so for I don't know, like maybe the last month or so, like maybe 4 to 6 weeks. I can't even remember when I started eating this way. But I've really increased my fat intake, and I have really made an effort to decrease my protein. And so when I say decrease protein, I'm not saying protein is bad. I'm saying I only need to eat the amount of protein that my body needs. And so I had read a lot of different things about, macros. And one of the things that I read was that if you are eating more protein than your body needs, then it can make you feel very fatigued. It can make you tired. It can make you have like brain fog. It can really affect you. And I think that that's what was happening to me, because when I was basically just carnivore, all I was eating was meat, and I was eating more meat than I was eating fat. And I mean, it was nothing for me to be around like 150 to 200 grams of protein in a day. And I think that that was what was going wrong for me for a while there, that was making me so exhausted, so just run down. I think I was eating too much protein. And so since I have decreased my protein intake, my energy has been so much better. My mind has been so much more clear, and I'm sleeping pretty good. Except for nights like last night when Oakley is very restless. But for the most part, I'm sleeping pretty good. I feel really good. I had been at a weight loss stall for quite a long time, and my weight has finally started to move again. And it's all because I dropped my protein and I increased my fat intake. And so that is my current food experiment. But what I think is really funny when I call it that is when I look now at the keto macros, I mean, I'm basically back to keto. I mean, I don't know if anybody else out there has realized that. So just over the last like month or two, like it seems like after I started following the macros like this from Keto Savage, all of a sudden, I mean, I see everybody is doing this experiment. Like a lot of people in the carnivore community are now decreasing their protein and increasing their fat. It's like a big thing right now. I mean, you guys probably know this. um, and I've even had some people like reach out and say, "Oh, are you doing this because so and so is doing this?" And I'm like, "No." I mean, I'm following the macros that I found on Keto Savage's website that's on the macro calculator. But it's just so interesting that there are so many people that are like doing this way of eating now. And so even people who are I mean, basically carnivore, but it's kind of like we're back to keto macros. It's like moderate protein, really high fat. And the big thing, the difference with carnivore is, you're not doing the, 5% carbs, but most of the time carnivores are zero carb. I mean, other than the few carbs that you can get in eggs and stuff like that. But so I think it's just interesting that so like right now, if I look at what my macros are right now, so where I have them set now, it's like 5% carbs, 75% fat, and 20% protein. Well, the standard keto macros are 5% carbs, 70% fat, and 25% protein. So, I mean, I really have just kind of tweaked my fat and protein macros just a little bit. But for the most part, I'm basically following keto macros again. I'm just not eating, like all of the other keto stuff that I used to eat. Um, I have been lately, I have been like eating vegetables more than what I normally do. Most of the time I don't really eat vegetables on a daily basis, but usually when I do eat them, it'll be like if we go out to eat in a restaurant, then I usually will get a side salad. That's most of the time, that's really the only time I really eat vegetables. Or if I go to a restaurant where they don't have any options for me, like let's say you go to, I don't know, a pizza place. And all they have is pizza and they have salads. So obviously, I mean, I would get a salad, but for the most part, I don't really eat a lot of vegetables, just every once in a while because I do like them. But I just recently had a couple of days where I was eating more vegetables than I'm used to, and I could tell my stomach got really, really messed up. So then I just was like, okay, I'm done for a while. Um, so yeah, anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm basically following a meat-based keto diet, and I've kind of gone from eating, the really high protein to just going back to the keto macros. I mean, because they work. They make you feel good. So, anyway, I don't know. I think that's it. That wraps it up. I mean, oh yeah, so I have a few comments here. So I'm not really good at looking at comments when I am talking. So I do have, yeah, so yep, yep, me too. I wish I could have vegetables. My IBS can't handle it. Yeah, I know, me too. I'm with you. I mean, I love, love, love vegetables. I do. I wish I could eat them. I wish I could eat them every day, but it's either you eat the things that that you want to eat even though they make you feel like crap, or you eat the things that make you feel really good. It's kind of like some things just don't taste good enough to feel that bad. So I mean, like if I was totally in love with cauliflower and I thought I could not live without it and I just had to have it every single day, and I didn't care that it made my body inflamed and miserable, then okay, I would eat cauliflower every day. But my goal is to feel good. I want to feel good. I want to have energy. I want no gut issues. I just want to feel amazing. And so that's the whole point of this way of eating, is to eliminate the foods that make you feel bad. And I don't care what anybody says, carbs and sugar, they cause inflammation in your body. They are not your friend. So I've learned from trial and error, lots of food experimenting. And I have figured out the way that I need to eat that just makes me feel my best. And I hope for you that you can figure that out too, for everybody out there watching. So after all of this whole journey with my food experiment, basically where I'm at right now today is I am back to keto macros. I mean, I mean, no, I'm not eating all of the vegetables and all of the other stuff that, you know, are considered keto friendly foods, but I'm focused on protein, I'm focused on fat, moderate protein, really high fat. I mean, I can eat a stick of butter in a day and it makes me feel amazing. And I know some of you out there think I am crazy, but once you figure out that your body needs fat and that fat is your fuel and that fat is your friend, then, you know, it's pretty awesome. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I need to get to work. It is a work day today. So I'm going to call it good. Thanks to everyone who joined me this morning. If you are watching this like on replay, drop a comment and let me know like where you're watching from. Are you on YouTube? Are you on Facebook? I'm just really curious to just know, because I'm so new to doing this. I'm just curious to know, you know, where everybody can see me. So I have some links here that I'll share. Like, I'm really new to this new platform. So if it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, it's because I don't. But if you don't already follow me on Facebook, this is my Facebook page. And if you don't follow me on YouTube, this is my YouTube page. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, definitely follow me there, because that's where I spend the majority of my time. I share in my Instagram stories pretty much every day. I am also on Snapchat, but honestly, if you follow me on Snapchat, you're not really seeing everything, because the stuff I put on Snapchat is really just little, well, snapshots of my day, but it's not everything. Like, I don't share everything in Snapchat that I share on Instagram in my stories. So anyway, and then yeah, I'm on TikTok, but I'm still learning, and I don't really post a lot of stuff on TikTok. But anyway, I'm there. I'm learning, I'm working on it. So anyway, oh, thank you. This is one of my favorite shirts. You guys probably know Kelly Hogan if you're, you know, familiar with the keto carnivore community at all. So you guys probably know this is one of her shirts. I have lots of her shirts. I have tank tops, t-shirts, sweatshirts. So yeah. Okay, so anyway, thanks for joining. I'm going to log off now. I'm going to get to work, and I will be sharing, I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow, but I will be sharing my video of how I made my cinnamon brown butter. So keep an eye out for that. So, all right, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you next time.